Roll call, please.
Freeholder Di Nicola.
Here.
Freeholder Felice.
Present.
Freeholder Gans.
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli.
Here.
Freeholder Zor.
Here.
Chairwoman Vaz.
Yeah, here. Before we begin our meeting, may I ask everyone to please take a minute to silence their phones? Thank you very much. We please all rise to honor America and join me in saying, I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I have two announcements. The Bergen County Board of Chosen Freeholders will be holding its next freeholder meeting on the road. Our second meeting on the road this year will be held on August the 19th at 7:30 p.m. in Saddlebrook, in the Saddlebrook Council Chambers. This is the second announcement of this meeting. We will, of course, make more announcements and will be advertising well in advance to alert the county and the community of this change. The 4:30 work session on that day will be held as usual in Hackensack in our caucus room. Tomorrow, the County of Bergen will host a Women's Equality Day exhibit celebrating women's right to vote. Tomorrow, August the 8th at 10:30 on the first floor lobby. As many of you know, the women received the right to vote by the 19th Amendment, and that was in 1920. Will the clerk please read the minutes to be accepted?
Minutes to be approved, June 17th, 2015, work session and public session, all present. June 24th, 2015, public session, all present. And July 1st, 2015, work session, all present.
May I have a
Move the
motion
minutes.
to accept the minutes?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. The ayes have it. May I have a motion to open the meeting to the public?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? We will now have the hearing of the general public with a 3-minute time limit in effect. The board attorney will keep the time. When the time of the speaker expires, the timekeeper will announce the time has expired. Please fill out cards with the general topic so we can keep a good flow. Okay, and I believe, John, okay, I believe that several people wish to be heard in order. Okay. Chris is it Vincent?
Visconti.
V-I-S, and then I can't read the rest of it. Sorry.
From Oakland.
From Oakland, okay. Penmanship is not my forte.
I wrote it quick, I arrived late. Thank you for hearing me. It's Chris Visconti of 4 Mountain Lakes Road in Oakland, New Jersey. I'm here. V-I-S-C-O-N-T-I.
Okay.
So I was the last one to arrive, so maybe I'm the first one to speak. I appreciate that. So I'm here to talk to you about the pipeline. I think several people will be here. In Oakland, we passed a resolution to oppose the construction of the pipeline. In fairness to the Pilgrim Pipeline people, I personally asked them to come to our council meeting to speak to us about what they were going to do and how they were going to do it. They did send 2 representatives. Unfortunately, the representatives did not bring a lot of information on what they were going to do. I am a realist. I understand we all need petroleum products for our cars, our homes, businesses that we run, but there was little or no information that they were able to provide. As you probably know, Oakland is a Highlands community. Highlands supplies about 30% of the drinking water for the state of New Jersey. It's vital to our health and safety. There are a lot of questions, and I'm sure a lot of other people will have information about emergency response. They had no answers, solutions, information that they could provide with us. One of the gentlemen was maybe it was a consultant or he worked for the company directly. His job was to acquire real estate. And one of the questions asked him was, have you ever done this before? And his answer was no. So I'm very concerned about the prospect of having a pipeline traveling through Oakland in a very sensitive environmental area. We have, I don't know if you know much about it, you probably do know a little bit, but if I can explain to the public, the idea here is that bacon crude is being brought from North Dakota to Albany via several different methods. Right now it's being transported by truck and barge and train here to New Jersey, to Linden, where it's being processed into lighter petroleum. The idea here is that this company is posing themselves as a transportation company, and their job is to move this oil from Albany to Linden as crude oil and return it as refined oil. It poses many problems. Environmentally, crude oil is a heavier material. It doesn't saturate as quickly. While it is a concern, it's something that a lot of communities do address in other parts of the country. But here, the return portion, you're talking about light crude, basically gasoline and processed materials that have a very quick rate, which don't go through the rock surface in the mountains, the Ramapo Mountains. So that could be in the aquifer in a matter of minutes to hours. So I'm here to ask you to please consider this carefully. I think it's in the best interest of Bergen County and the state of New Jersey to oppose this. Thank you.
Okay, now I have a group, since almost everyone here is going to speak on the pipeline, I have some that says please keep in order, and so now I will do that, okay? Matt Smith.
Yes. Good evening. My name is Matt Smith. I'm an organizer with Food and Water Watch. We're a nonprofit that champions clean drinking water and safe, healthy food. I'm here tonight to speak a little bit about the proposed Pilgrim pipeline. We were here at the last meeting, a smaller group of us, and our concerns remain the same. I think that the crux of our argument is that this pipeline brings little, if no, to no benefit to New Jersey residents. The oil, the unrefined stuff comes from Albany, is refined in Linden, and then piped back out of state. So this does nothing to provide more energy for New Jersey. What it does do is it puts all of the risk on New Jersey, and specifically in Mahwah and Oakland and Bergen County. Even though a route hasn't been finalized, the company's preliminary routes show that this would go directly over the Ramapo Aquifer and through the Highlands region, collectively providing drinking water to millions of residents throughout the state and several 100,000 here in Bergen County. And with, again, this is not a public utility, this is a private company. And so we really feel that with very little benefit and all of the risk that the Bergen County should be opposed to this project. I have here a letter that's been signed on to by over 40 faith, environmental, civic, public health, and other organizations that either are based here in Bergen County or have members and constituents here in Bergen County. And I have a copy for all of the freeholders that I can. Thanks. And this letter is essentially asking the freeholders to pass a resolution opposing this project. In doing so, Bergen County would join both the state assembly and the state senate, who have already resolved opposition. They would join Passaic, Union, Morris, and Essex counties, as well as the over 30 municipalities who have resolved opposition to this project. This is not a partisan issue. Both Republican and Democratic-controlled town councils and county boards have voted unanimously to oppose this project. And the legislation had strong bipartisan support in both houses of the legislature. In addition to passing the resolution, or part and parcel of the resolution, and this is key, is we are asking the county to rescind survey permission for any county-owned lands. This is not a public utility. Again, this is a for-profit venture. The other municipalities and counties who have passed resolutions have called for no surveying on county-owned lands. These were our taxpayer dollars that went to preserve these lands, and we do not feel that for-profit private companies should be allowed survey access even before they're granted utility status or anything of the like. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Ken Dolsky.
Good evening, Ken Dolsky, D-O-L-S-K-Y, Parsippany. Thank you very much. I also just wanted to first mention the fact that I believe that giving Pilgrim the opportunity to survey in county lands, while I know the state had provided it, was essentially a mistake, meaning that it just made their lives a lot easier, and they were able to do a lot of survey work that if they hadn't done, would have made it much more difficult for them to put forth a application to the DEP, allowing them to come through Bergen County. They may have to come back and do more research, do more survey work, which is why we think it's very important that you please rescind that and prevent them from doing that. Second, last time I also spoke about the idea that trains and pipelines may be involved in shifting oil shipments from one to the other, and that it seemed very, very unlikely that this would happen. And in the case of the Pilgrim Pipeline, for reasons that I presented last time. There was also an article in the Daily Record following that meeting, and in which Paul Nathanson, a spokesperson for Pilgrim, also said basically the same thing. He said it's not clear how the trade-off is going to take place, if any, between trains and pipelines. And believe me, in Pilgrimese, that means it's not going to happen. That's basically what they're saying. So we very much would like to understand what your position is and what your thinking is, and whether you see that as being an issue for Bergen County. Lastly, we understand that you do want to meet with Pilgrim Pipeline, and so we prepared a primer for you so that you'll be able to interact with them with a lot of background. And I have 8 copies of that sitting at home in my briefcase right now, so I will email it to you. But basically, we put together all the things that they have said both on their website and in the press, and we've given you information following that to show you what we think about these and help you understand what they're saying, and also ask better questions. And so, for example, when they say by any statistical measure, pipelines are by far the safest and most efficient means of transporting crude oil and refined products, we're giving you statistics that say that's not so. When they say the pipeline will have shut-off valves every 10 miles, we understand that, but we're also going to tell you that within 10 miles of pipeline, there's almost 1.2 million gallons of processed gasoline as well as crude oil. And that shut-off systems don't just work by themselves, they have to be managed. And in the case of the famous spill in the Kalamazoo River, the people who were managing the system saw that something was amiss in the pipeline. They misread it as an air bubble, and they pushed more oil into the system and made the spill worse. So just because they have a shut-off system doesn't mean that it's necessarily going to work. It doesn't mean it's going to be effective. And we have pages more like this, and we'll be happy to send it to you and help educate you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ann Howley.
Powley. My name's Ann Powley. I live in Mahwah, New Jersey. I get a little nervous talking, so I just read last time. I just want to tell you a little bit. I am a den leader in Cub Scouts, and I first learned about this pipeline project when I found out it was going to go right by the Cub Scout camp where my son went. And I've been in touch with the Scouts as well. I understand that the people that manage their land there have refused to allow Pilgrim to survey. I'm very happy that they've done that. This came to my attention in another way too. I'm also a member of my town's Historic Preservation Commission. And the Tennessee Gas Pipeline Project has been heavily using a very tiny, very special bridge, the Cleveland Bridge, which is actually county owned. And it's taken a heavy toll. And so this construction project would also affect that, which is a county historical resource, which I didn't know if everyone was aware of. And now that I'm attuned to this, I'm much more aware of hearing about leaks and spills. I don't think they get the attention they deserve. I have some statistics. I have a copy for everybody that I'll leave at the end. And I'll let you read it. Basically, in a 20-year period from 1993 to 2012, there were nearly 6,000 leaks or spills from pipelines. Over 2,000 of them were deemed significant. This means there was $50,000 or more in costs, a fatality, or a release of 5 barrels or more of liquid. or that the releases resulted in a fire or explosion. That's not insignificant, over 2,000. This year alone, there have been several. In January, the Bridger pipeline carrying Bakken crude spilled 50,000 gallons of oil into the Yellowstone River in Montana. This was a 12-inch pipe with a 42,000 barrel per day capacity. This is smaller than the two pipes they want to put through my mountains. One will be 16 inches, one will be 18 inches. The leak caused a sheen on the river that could be seen from 25 miles away. A state of emergency was declared in 2 counties, and thousands were left without drinkable water. My water comes from the Round River aquifer. I don't want to see that happen. The one spill that did get some really good attention, unfortunately, was the Refugio oil spill that just happened in May in California and coated the beach in Santa Barbara. This oil spill spilled 101,000 gallons, and what's interesting there is the oil was carried through a duct to the ocean. So what I understand too is if these leaks or spills happen, for example, near my wellheads, there's other ways that the oil can get into our water supply than just by sifting down through an aquifer. If there are drainage systems or other ways that the oil can get in, just like rainwater, it could end up anywhere. And on July 15, 2015, oil giant Nexen was responsible for one of the worst disasters in Canadian history. This just happened. It spilled 1.3 million gallons of emulsion, which is oil and water mixed, and made this the largest spill in Canadian history. What's significant about this one is it was a brand new pipeline. It was just installed last year. So it's not just old pipelines that are causing problems. There's a couple more statistics in here. I don't know why I get these.
Okay.
One.
We have to keep to the 3 minutes because of the fact that usually when it's a large group, I ask that one person be the spokesperson for the entire group. And so, because I'm letting everybody speak, I hope you understand when I have to say the 3 minutes are up, okay? Thank you. Jerome Wagner.
Good evening, and thank you for this opportunity to speak to you. Again, my name is Jerome Wagner. I reside in Wayne in Passaic County. I worked as an environmental engineer for 30 years. I've been involved with the Coalition Against the Pilgrim Pipeline for the past year. We've heard about leaks already. I want to make a couple of very general assertions relative to pipeline leaks. I'm going to address then contamination by benzene, which is an important consideration, and then pose a couple of questions. Pipeline leaks do happen. We've heard about those statistics. Those are have been documented in both industry and government reports. Pipeline leaks can also be very large. They can range from the hundreds of thousands of gallons up to the million-gallon range. So again, they can be very significant. Quoting a 2012 study commissioned by the US DOT, the average pipeline therefore has a 57% probability of experiencing a major leak with consequences over the $1 million range in a 10-year period. I'll add that over the projected 30 to 60-year life of a pipeline, leakage is virtually a certainty. As regards pipeline leaks, the appropriate question for decision makers is not will a pipeline leak, but rather when, where, how bad could it be, and what will be the impacts on our communities. Turning to contamination by oil products. Any petroleum spill will contaminate precious, crucial, irreplaceable water resources. Spilled crude and petroleum products contaminate water with toxic, carcinogenic chemical compounds, including benzene, toluene, ethylbenzene, and xylenes. Benzene is especially notable in this context relative to drinking water contamination. The EPA has assigned a maximum contaminant level of 5 parts per billion to benzene. A pumped release of Bakken crude could amount to almost 6,000 gallons in a single minute. In that spill, there would be at least 70 pounds of benzene. This amount is enough to contaminate 1.7 billion gallons of water, to a point where the contained benzene would render it unsafe for human consumption. Again, almost 2 billion gallons undrinkable with a 1-minute spill. Turning just to a couple of rhetorical questions. What is the board's general sense of the risks posed by the proposed Pilgrim pipeline? Secondly, what actions is the board undertaking to come to a decision as to whether to resolve in opposition? Thirdly, will the board direct county agencies to rescind any approvals already given to Pilgrim and its agents for such activities such as surveying on county lands? And lastly, as a question, what legal
3 minutes,
restrictions
Chairman.
shall be placed into easement language to protect county residents from pollution or other damages which might result from spills from the proposed Pilgrim pipeline onto county lands? Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Laura Lander.
Laura Lander, Fairlawn. L-A-U-R-A-L-A-N-D-E-R, Fairlawn, New Jersey. So my name is Laura Lander. I'm with the Unitarian Society of Ridgewood. I'm chairwoman of the Green Sanctuary Task Force. I'm here on behalf of my members. We just wanted to register our opposition to the Pilgrim pipeline. For many reasons, we think it runs counter to common sense. Thank you.
Thank you. More comments. Okay, Jacqueline Geergis? Sorry.
Gergis, G-R-G-I-S. I am the president of Bergen, and I'm also the founder. I think climate change is the most important issue that is facing us today. In fact, it's not just me. According to NASA, I think climate change is the most important issue that we are facing today. In fact, according to NASA, 97% of all the scientists in the world believe that climate change is real and it's due to human activity. Therefore, we must change our activity so our children can have a future. Other countries are embracing green energy. For example, Germany just announced that 80% of their day's electricity comes from renewable, while we are, on the other hand, still debating Pilgrim pipeline, Arctic drilling, fracking, and crude oil. This is a pivotal time. I call on you to be environmental leaders and have a great legacy. We encourage you to invest in renewable energy, green jobs, and green infrastructure for Bergen County. As you see by today's action and the members, the organizations that have signed on to the with Food and Water Watch, this organization represents hundreds of people who are residents and voters of Bergen County. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Paula Rigovin.
Paula Rogovin, R-O-G-O-V-I-N, Teaneck. I'm a member of the Coalition to Ban Unsafe Oil Trains. On July 11th, I participated in a demonstration and a forum in Kingston, New York, in Ulster County, one of nearly 100 demonstrations in the U.S. and Canada to mark the second anniversary of the tragic derailment in Lochmagantic, where the train carrying back in crude, which would be in the pipeline also, derailed and exploded into a firebomb. 47 people were killed, 27 children and teenagers, now called the orphans of Lochmagantic, lost one or both parents. These are two of the children who died along with their mom. Buildings, water, and land are still polluted 2 years later. The Ulster County Legislature was very proud that they announced it at this demonstration, that they had passed a resolution 22-1 in February opposing the Pilgrim Pipeline. The Coalition to Ban Unsafe Oil Trains formed last year and had our first demonstration along the CSX River line in Teaneck. I know some of us were here before we marched at the Oradell Reservoir. That bridge still, I was there tonight, it still has not been replaced. So, our water is at risk. Now, the coalition opposes the transport of back-in crude oil by rail, by barge, and by pipeline. They're all dangerous. And just a quick demonstration of this. If this were filled with water, representing number 2 fuel oil, and it were in a derailment, and it got hit, and there were sparks flying, if it were water, like in that bottle, no big deal. But this is what, I'm not opening it, I promise. I promise, not here.
But you do point it that way,
Okay, but if this were in a derailment, or in a pipeline where there was a problem and the pipeline's hit, and there are any kinds of sparks or any kind of lightning, anything like that, what would happen. It'd be a firebomb. I learned this, I'm a teacher. I know you're a teacher, kindergarten. But I learned about this from Scott Smith from Water Defense, and that's how he helps us explain the danger of back-in crude oil. It burns at a low flash point. It turns into a firebomb easily. There's no evacuation plan. You're dead. You're dead. I mean, you're dead.
3 minutes, Chairman.
And there's toxic material in this from the fracking and from the back-in crude itself. I have this from Ulster County. This is their 3 minutes. Okay, this is for you. This is the Ulster County Sustainability Plan, so that if you don't use back-in crude, you can use solar and other. And these, I'm not turning these in right now, but these are petitions of people opposing in Bergen County in opposition to the back-in crude in the trains. Thank you. Thank you.
Richard Malizia.
Very well. M-A-L-I-Z-I-A. Most people don't get it on the first try. I'm the conservation chair of East Jersey Trout Unlimited. Trout Unlimited is the largest cold water conservation organization in North America. The East Jersey chapter has in excess of 600 members, most of whom are Bergen County residents. And I ask you tonight to please approach this pipeline in the most conservative way possible. We see only risk and no reward. The oil will come through Bergen County and the gasoline will come back out through Bergen County. There will be no benefit to any of the Bergen County residents. You've got 13 municipal wells along the Ramapo River adjacent to the proposed pipeline. All of the communities depend upon either the well water or for the municipal wells or the private wells for their own homes. These are all being placed in jeopardy. You have all the risks. There is no reward for Bergen County residents. And I know we're all short on time. All I will say as a reminder is that 50 years ago, Ford Motor Company was allowed to dump their toxic sludge, and we're still dealing with it today. How many more years do you want to deal with an environmental disaster that could come about by an oil spill that will involve the potential of all the oil in 10 miles worth of pipeline which will be proposed to be immediately adjacent to a natural gas pipeline. It's a bomb next to a bomb, and I implore you to vote against it. Thank you.
Okay, I have Richard, I cannot read your last name, from Hackensack. Could be.
Oh, that's great.
Okay, Grant.
Grant.
Sorry.
Grant it is.
Grant going once.
I got it.
Grant going twice.
Good evening. My name is Richard Grant. I'm a resident of Hackensack, a volunteer for Sierra Club Beyond Coal, New Jersey, and 350 NJ. I am opposed to the Pilgrim Pipeline project because of the high risk and the lack of benefit, except to the investors who are concerned with building it. I just wanted to point out one thing, be very brief, which is that the largest investment banks that make their money by giving advice and serving the wealthiest institutions and individuals in our society have been coming out with a series of reports, whether it's Citibank or Deutsche Bank and others, stating that the shift to renewables is exploding. It's a combination of various things, including advances in technology and energy storage, in making solar more efficient and making wind power more efficient. I keep reading things, 5 years there's going to be changes, 15 years at the most. Why put pipes in the ground that are in all likelihood going to leak, that will be unnecessary because the need for them isn't there. They're not giving more energy that's absolutely needed. They're not giving cheaper energy that's absolutely needed. They're simply giving more energy to enrich the investors, not to benefit the people of New Jersey. Thank you.
Thank you.
Laura Friedenthal.
2 for 2.
And 1,000 tonight.
Friedenthal. I'm here on behalf of the Green Party of New Jersey and its members in Bergen County to say that we stand with Food and Water Watch, and we don't feel that the potential for private profit is worth the risk to your public water system.
Thank you.
Ed Fanning.
Ed Fanning, F-A-N-N-I-N-G. I live in Dumont. Thank you for letting me speak tonight. A lot of the speakers today have spoken about details why we shouldn't have the pipeline go through Bergen County, and they all make excellent points. I like for you guys to think about it at a higher level also, as has been mentioned by some of the speakers. Climate change is the biggest problem that humanity has faced, and I think we need to be realist about that as well. The technology exists for us to improve on and to have the technology to power our buildings, our transportation. The rate we're going though with global warming, think of your children and grandchildren. We're in the year 2100, someone born today will be 85 years old, and the temperature of the earth could be 10 degrees warmer. New York City could be underwater. This isn't just, I might sound like a lunatic, but these aren't the ravings of lunatics. This is happening. And I think Bergen County has the opportunity to say, no, we're not going to support the fossil fuel industry. It's been estimated that 80% of the fossil fuels have to remain in the ground. So why are we going to support having this pipeline taking some of the dirtiest fossil fuels and putting them through the county? It just doesn't make any sense. So think about that, think about your children, your grandchildren. It's happening now to us, but we can put a stop to it. The technology exists. It's really a matter of political will. We can do it. We don't have to humanity doesn't have to destroy itself for the sake of the fossil fuel industry. So I urge you to vote no on this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Rosemary Drager Carey.
There's nothing tonight.
Rosemary Drager Carey, D-R-E-G-E-R, Carey, C-A-R-E-Y, no hyphen. Thank you for taking my comments tonight. I'm a volunteer organizer speaking on behalf of 3 groups. Coalition to Ban Unsafe Oil Trains, a grassroots group of citizens opposed to the presence of freight trains carrying highly volatile Bakken crude through our towns. 350 NJ, the New Jersey chapter of the Global Climate Solutions Group, 350.org, which mobilized tens of thousands of New Jerseyans to the People's Climate March last year and continues to organize for climate safety and justice. And North Jersey Public Policy Network, the nonpartisan educational group with 2,000 civic-minded and politically engaged members. Each of these groups urges the Board of Chosen Freeholders to pass a resolution opposing the Pilgrim Pipeline. As for the Coalition to Ban Unsafe Oil Trains, why would people living with the harassment, noise, air pollution, and daily terror of a catastrophic oil train derailment or explosion in their backyards oppose the Pilgrim Pipeline, a pipeline that would transport the same dangerous substance that keeps them up at night, and I mean literally keeps them up at night, through someone else's town? Because we know that Bakken crude oil doesn't belong in anyone's town. Any way you ship it, by train, pipeline, or barge, Bakken crude is volatile, corrosive, and dangerous. It threatens the health and safety of people living in its path, poses a risk to property and the land, puts our drinking supply at risk. Its transport is prone to leaks by the industry's own admission. Its vapors escape through corroded pipes and joints. Local impacts notwithstanding, we can't forget the climate impacts of burning Bakken crude oil and other fossil fuels affect us all. The overwhelming majority of climate scientists tell us that we need to leave 2/3 of the available fossil fuel reserves in the ground if we have any chance of leaving our children and grandchildren with a stable and hospitable planet. Instead, we keep drilling and improving infrastructure that will lock us into a reliance on oil and gas for the next 50 years. That's got to stop. On a local level, that means rejecting the Pilgrim Pipeline. Of course, there's no way to solve the climate crisis by denying a single pipeline, no matter how large, but it's a critical step we need to take now. By opposing this short-sighted, unnecessary pipeline today, you're helping to level the playing field for alternatives like solar and wind, and making it possible to create jobs and stimulate New Jersey's economy through energy efficiency and conservation. Passing a resolution to oppose the Pilgrim Pipeline may seem like a small step, but to future generations, it means everything. The time is now, and our children are watching. Thank
you. Lorraine Bogert.
Wiley.
Push the microphone down so that's good.
It pops right
I
back
know.
up. Should I hold it?
You can hold it.
Okay. Well, no, I have to hold what I'm reading. Or I'll lose my place. What does it mean to have Bakken oil shipped through New Jersey? I won't mince words. Bergen County is my home. I see an industry choosing to ship their product by rail or pipeline, one way or the other, halfway across the country in its most deadly and volatile form. That volatility could be removed at point of origin where it is mined, with an investment in refining. Instead, here is an industry that has chosen to spread that danger to every community it passes, going to a refinery halfway across the country. They are passing along the danger, but they are also passing along the cost of first response. And since secrecy is part of the problem, because this is also a homeland security issue, the first responders won't even get all the timely information they would normally expect to be given to be prepared to deal with any disaster. This is being portrayed as a transition fuel. I heard a state official put transition time at 40 years.
40 years from now, this industry will be entrenched and not willingly give up the fruits of this huge infrastructure investment if they do build it. We see that business reflex at Indian Point, where the Exelon has pushed to operate a nuclear power plant 20 years more than it was meant to last. For all these reasons, I urge you to pass a resolution opposing pipeline, the Pilgrim Pipeline. Thank you.
Thank you.
Councilman Pat Pignatelli.
Thank you and good evening. That's Pignatelli. As I said, I'm council president for the Borough of Oakland. I'm presently retired, but I was a director of public health and a registered environmental health specialist for over 36 years. Undoubtedly, I've had a lot of firsthand experience with environmental spills. As a matter of fact, we had one in Riverdale where only 200 gallons of home heating fuel was spilled in the Paquonic River, and it took 7 years before that got cleaned up. What we're dealing with is extremely hazardous. This pipeline is proposed to pass over our single source aquifer, and it's also in the Highlands Preservation Area. We have yet to see an emergency response plan from Pilgrim, which I think is extremely important, especially for our first responders. There is no access to this pipeline. There's no easy access to this pipeline for our responders, so it will not be instantaneous. I ask you to please take a look at our Environmental Commission's white paper, which we gave to Freeholder David Gans last year, which explains some of the geology that's at the pipeline site and the hazard that it will have on our aquifer in the event of a spill. I ask you to please, please support banning the Pilgrim Pipeline from Bergen County. I do not want to see a water truck on our streets in Oakland because our sole source aquifer is contaminated. Please, I ask you from the bottom of my heart, oppose this resolution. Thank you.
Jeff Rappaport.
Rappaport, R-A-P-A-P-O-R-T.
Thank you.
I don't really have a lot to add to what was said today. I became a grandfather 2 years ago, which changed my world. They can't fight for themselves right now. And I hope in 10, in 20, 30 years, they'll be brave and stand up for what's right. I wish to reiterate just a couple of things. The Oakland Environmental Commission paper on the effects on the Ramapo River Basin could be just enormous. And I strongly suggest you take a look at it. It's really a good study that I've seen. In addition, you've heard the recurring theme, and it's not very difficult to come to the conclusion that there's just absolutely nothing to gain for our area. The state has been totally nonpartisan in opposing both the Senate and the Assembly in passing opposing resolutions. National level is something else. I still can't figure that one out. So I really want to thank you for listening to what we have to say. And I believe that all the important things that are being done now are being done locally. You can have an enormous impact, and I ask you to seriously consider what the people have said to you today. Thank you very much.
I everyone who wishes to speak against the pipeline spoken? Okay, then I will go on to other topics. Mike Eccles?
Eccles, E-C-H-O-L-S. Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike Eccles. I'm an associate professor of communication at Bergen Community College, which I've been told by many politicians is the jewel of our county. And wow, wasn't I excited a few months ago when I opened up my newspaper and I read that the chosen freeholders of Bergen County had unanimously approved the new budget that was sent down by Chairman Tedesco, which restored full funding to the college. Several publications, Freeholders had you quoted, as we have now fully funded the college again after 5 years. And then a couple of days later, several dozen of our part-time workers, women in their 50s and 60s who count on that 18, 19, 20 hours a week, were just cut without any prior notice. And then here it is, only a few days ago, where I find out that 64 full-time lecturers have been cut. Just like that. These are people, 64 people, who each taught a minimum 5 classes per semester and were experts in their field. And they're gone. And I'm trying to think to myself, see, I'm a product of Lyndhurst High School, president of the class of '83. Maybe I didn't pay attention too well in my math classes. But when you fully restore the budget to the college, more money than we've had in over 5 years, and we're cutting people, and we're cutting educators, while administrators are all milking their 6-figure salaries. And to be quite honest with you, 6-figure salaries, I see these people on a daily basis, I still don't know what half of them do. But they're making a hell of a lot more money than faculty who have been there 20 or 30 years. Now, this isn't just something as a member of the Faculty Association leadership, which you all did this on a bipartisan vote. See, I'm used to that now as a leader in our BCCFA, because unlike my other colleagues who lean liberal and Democrat, I'm a conservative Republican. Hell, I'm so conservative that if Antonin Scalia tonight announced he was stepping down from the Supreme Court and was running for president, I'd empty out my savings account and fund his campaign. But it's not a Republican or a Democrat thing. It's not a liberal or a conservative thing. It's a right or wrong thing. And what's going on at the college is wrong. And you all voted to fund what's going on right now, and it needs to be looked at. And it needs to be looked at closely. Because my question is, which you all should be asking, where's the money? Thank you.
Thank you.
James Irwin.
ERWIN, Hackensack, New Jersey. Good evening, freeholders, the public. I came here at the last meeting to talk about the initiative that I'm going around, asking the towns to raise the age to buy tobacco products from 19 to 21. At the last meeting, they were also speaking about this pipeline issue, and I know that I'm not here on that issue, but I am moved by it. This is like my 5th time coming to this meeting in about like 20 years. But I think this is the weirdest meeting that people ask you questions and pose things to you, but you don't give your opinion, or unless I came late or need to stay early. But as elected officials, I like to hear, each person's view on what the public has posed. I just noticed that at the last meeting, I don't know, like I said, if I came early or too late, then please direct my attention so I can find out how you'll view the public's opinions on what's going on. God bless us all if an accident was to happen in that pipeline of these trains that's coming through our towns. Personally, I think that the pipeline is a done deal because the way our society works and the way capitalism works, if there's money that's involved and there's more money than you can control or have power to control, then the deal's already done. But that's just my opinion. Back to my smoking. I was told by someone who held similar position that county freeholders can take a stance and direct policy and pass an ordinance to have the county pass the age to be 21. I would like an answer to that, if that's possible or not. Because I was confused, because someone told me that you didn't have the authority to do that. If you can't do that, I would still like what I asked the first time I was here, for the county freeholders to take a position on it one way or the other. I would like to know how each freeholder feels about it, and if you felt strongly about it, to pass a resolution or an ordinance in support of raising the age to buy nicotine and tobacco products from 19 to 21. Smoking in the United States accounts for about 480 million deaths a year. That's like 1 in 5. Last count, there's a little over 50 people in here. That's 5 of us that would not be here. I'm sure cancer has affected in one way or another everyone's life by a family member or relative. At the rate that we're going now, children that are under the age of 18, there will be about 41, excuse me, right now there's about 41,000 secondhand smoking deaths from that type of exposure. And right now we have about 5.6, at this rate, it'll be 5.6 million people that are under 18 right now will die within 50 years from now. So the numbers are staggering. The effects of smoking and its illnesses and other diseases are harmful to us all. The price that we pay in our healthcare premiums are staggering because of smoking.
You have had 3 minutes, and
I appreciate it.
we have
Okay,
understood
thank you.
your
Have a good evening.
position.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. And now, Joseph Dunsey.
I am Joseph Dunsey from River Edge. Today I'd like to talk about the adult shops and the Bergen County Master Plan. I know that the master plan is being revised, so in the not too distant future, probably the next Board of Freeholders is going to decide about zoning and long-term plans for the county that will affect us for decades, and many of the people on the dais now will be making those decisions. Used to be in Midtown Manhattan, that area was a mecca for adult shops, and then Giuliani passed many regulations that basically made it, Disneyfied the area, and I don't want to see something like that happen in Bergen County. We don't have what they used to have in Midtown, so I think there's no need to pass any regulations, and I want to present reasons why we shouldn't even consider regulations like that. First of all, it's a freedom of the press issue, and I do have some skin in the game. My ebook launched recently, and I chose the adult genre because I was trying to confront a political situation, and that genre traditionally is a good area for confronting authority because it's already marginalized, so then an artist using that genre has more freedom to challenge convention. As anyone who's ever actually read the articles in Playboy knows, there can be some very biting, no holds bar comments made there that can change the status quo. Now, I know you might say that with the internet, there's really no need for brick and mortar stores, but recent events in India showed the importance of maintaining a brick and mortar industry to some degree. There was a bureaucrat in India who wanted to outlaw all adult websites in India, and the Indian Supreme Court said that adults had the right to download that content. So they said, okay, we just want to ban the content that's so bad that it's antisocial. And the bureaucrat made a list and banned over 800 websites, including the website that produces college humor. Now, if you go to the YouTube channel for College Humor, you see it's bawdy humor, about on the same level as Saturday Night Live. And it's content that they would allow at the open mic in Hackensack at the library. So definitely, what happened in India was people, when those websites were banned, they were able to go to their local merchants and buy DVDs. So there was sort of a resiliency in the industry because they had that redundancy. Now, we've seen in dictatorships where they don't allow free press in the printed media, the power of the internet allowed a revolution through Twitter and social media. In India, we see the opposite. When they cracked down on the internet, the printed brick and mortar allowed resiliency.
Joseph, I think you had made your point, okay? And at this point,
Kim, take a break.
Kim, I think you need a little rest. We're going to take a 5-minute break. Okay. Can I have a motion to close the public hearing?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're taking a 5-minute recess.
Resolutions on unanimous consent are 795-15 to 921-15 and 923-15 to 925-15.
Second. Until I ask you, thank you very much. I appreciate it. Okay, we have a motion by Freeholder Gans and a second by Roll call, please.
Freeholder Nicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Vaz?
Yes. Are there any resolutions of non-consent pulled or tabled? If so, will the clerk please read?
There is Resolution 922-15 is a resolution authorizing the creation of an advisory panel to study the use of police body camera equipment in the county of Bergen.
Chairwoman, before there's a sponsor for this item, please let the record reflect that Freeholder DiNicola has recused himself from this particular resolution.
And has left the room.
And has left the room.
Okay. Freeholder Zer has asked if she could say a few
We need a
words.
sponsor.
I would like to sponsor it first.
Sponsor
And I'll
first?
second that.
All right.
Okay.
All in favor?
No,
She's going to
make a
talk.
comment.
Okay.
First of all, I just want to point out, I want to thank the individuals who have agreed to serve on this panel. The Attorney General guidelines came out on Thursday and specifically indicated that while they are now statewide standards that are going to establish basic requirements, all the police departments should encourage local input and assess their community needs and interests, and that's exactly what this panel is going to do. So I want to thank the sheriff and the county executive for putting forward this pilot, and we look forward to the process of studying and analyzing how this is going to best meet the needs of the Bergen County residents. So I would like to sponsor this and proactively thank the individuals for all the different stakeholders who are going to have their voices heard on both the civil liberties and the police protections that we're going to be putting into place as we go forward and begin the utilization of body cameras. Thank you very much, Chairwoman.
Yes.
Okay. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Yes.
I second
Please.
Felice.
Okay. Roll call, please.
Freeholder DiNicola has abstained. Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Point of order.
Nicola recused herself. Point of order.
Okay. May I continue?
Yes.
Okay, Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. I did it again. And Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
I'm tired. Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
And Chairwoman Vaz?
Yes.
Okay.
We will now go on to our 3 ordinances for first reading and introduction. Will the clerk please read ordinance 15-19 by title only?
1 second. Oh, and there's no resolutions pulled or tabled either.
Right.
Okay, introduction of first read, okay. Let's see. Ordinance 15-19 is an ordinance amending the Bergen County Planning Board Site Plan Review Fee Schedule.
May I have a motion to introduce the ordinance?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Discussion.
Going to just ask for that. Is there any discussion on this ordinance?
There is,
Yes,
Chairwoman.
Freeholder Gans.
Briefly, I had some discussion with both the county council and also with the chief of staff concerning the planning board and also concerning the construction board of appeals, which relates to both this ordinance and the appointments that were made. I wanted to make sure that each of the members of those various boards received copies or access to electronically the book Cox on Land Use and Zoning. And my understanding from speaking with Michelle Doorgy earlier in the day that the administration has agreed to do that.
Any other discussion? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Freeholder Di Nicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Vaz?
Yes. Ordinance 15-19 passes first reading. Will the clerk please read ordinance 15-20 by title only?
Ordinance 15-20 is an ordinance amending the Bergen County Planning Board subdivision review fee schedule.
May I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second? Any discussion on ordinance 15-20? Will the clerk please call the roll?
Freeholder Di Nicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Vaz?
Ordinance, yes, ordinance 15-20 passes first reading. Will the clerk please read ordinance 15-21 by title only?
Ordinance 15-21 is an ordinance amending the Bergen County Administrative Code to establish the Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, and Transgender and Questioning Advisory Committee.
May I have a motion to introduce?
So moved.
Do you have a second?
Second.
Aye.
Any discussion?
Just, I would, Chairman, just to thank the county executive for putting this forward and having additional voices heard in this process, and to reiterate that these are all volunteer committees. No one is being paid to sit on these committees, and we welcome the voices and input as we have with every other advisory committee that we've had in Bergen County. Thank
Will
you.
the clerk please call the roll?
Anybody else?
Anybody else have anything? Okay.
Freeholder Di Nicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Vaz?
Yes. Ordinance 15-21 passes first reading. Okay. We will now go into our ordinance for second reading and adoption. Will the clerk please read ordinance 15-15?
Ordinance 15-15, the proof of publication of ordinance notice of a public hearing and was published in the Record and the Herald News on Sunday, July 19th, and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of the hearing in ordinance number 15-15 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 48:2-17 on Friday, July 17th, 2015.
May I have a motion to open
Oh, wait,
the
I
hearing?
gotta read the
Oh,
title.
sorry.
Okay, an ordinance providing for various capital improvements for the Department of Administration and Finance, the clerk of the Board of Chosen Freeholders, the superintendent of elections / commissioner of registration, surrogate court of Bergen County, Board of Elections, and the superintendent of schools by and in the county of Bergen, state of New Jersey, appropriating $4,171,380, therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $3,962,811 bonds or notes to finance part of the cost thereof.
May I have a motion to open the hearing?
So
on
moved.
ordinance?
Second.
Sorry.
Okay?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Public hearing is now open with a 5-minute time limit. The board attorney will keep time. When the time of the speaker has expired, the timekeeper will announce it has expired. Anyone wish to speak?
On any subject or just on the ordinance?
Just that ordinance.
Just that ordinance. Okay?
There are no speakers, Chair.
Okay, may I have a motion to close the
So
hearing
moved.
on the ordinance?
Second.
Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing on ordinance 1515 is closed. Is there any board discussion or comment on ordinance 1515?
There is none.
Okay. May I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1515 as read by the clerk?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Freeholder Di Nicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Aye.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Vaz?
Yes. Ordinance 1515 passes, is adopted on the second reading. Read another one?
Yes.
Okay. Second reading and adoption of ordinance 15-18.
Proof of the publication of ordinance notice of public hearing was published in the Record and the Herald News on Sunday, July 19, 2015, and is on file in my office. A copy of the notice of the hearing and ordinance number 15-18 was duly posted pursuant to NJSA 48:2-17 on Friday, July 17, 2015. Ordinance 15-18 is an ordinance establishing the revision to the speed limit along County Route number 39 and 34, known as Schralenberg Road in the Borough of Haworth, from the Borough of Dumont border to the Borough of Gloucester border.
May I have a motion to open the hearing on ordinance 1518 to the public?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Public hearing is now open with a 5-minute time limit. The board attorney will keep the time. When the time has expired, the timekeeper will announce it has expired. Does anyone wish to speak on this ordinance?
There are no speakers.
Okay, may I have a motion to close the hearing on ordinance 1518?
Second.
Public, second. All in favor?
Aye.
The public hearing on ordinance 1518 is closed. Is there any discussion on the board?
There's none.
Okay. Then may I have a motion to adopt ordinance 1518 as read by the clerks?
Move the ordinance.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Roll call, please.
Freeholder Di Nicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Abstain.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli?
Yes.
Freeholder Zor?
Yes.
Chairwoman Boss?
Yes, ordinance 15-18 is adopted on second reading. Okay, are we gonna have reports? We'll see.
Well, somebody make a motion. I'll make a motion
Okay.
to suspend reports for this evening. That
I'll
went far.
second that motion.
Wow.
There's a motion to suspend reports and a second
can I
by
not
You
Freeholder
dared
Di
me,
Nicola.
didn't you?
I wanted
Roll
you-
call is
I
required
wanted you to make the
Okay.
on
motion.
the motion.
Okay, Freeholder Di Nicola?
Yes.
Freeholder Felice?
Yes.
Freeholder Gans?
Nope.
Freeholder Sullivan is absent. Freeholder Tonelli?
No. It's very difficult to vote no when she seconded. I'm gonna say yes.
Okay,
you.
Freeholder Zor?
No.
Freeholder Boss, or Chairwoman Boss? I'm sorry.
Uh-oh.
Wait, I'm confused.
She lost count.
Here's where we are.
Wait a minute.
Chairwoman,
On your show, you get to decide if we do reports.
Chairwoman,
Oh,
you
no.
are the deciding
tie-breaking
vote.
vote.
It's all your fault.
A yes vote means there are no committee reports.
And we go home.
A no vote is a tie, and the meeting will be adjourned.
This is a no-brainer.
A yes vote.
Okay. What is that?
Your vote, Chairwoman.
A yes means we're doing it?
Yes means that the
We suspend it.
yes
Yes
means
means there's no reports.
there are no reports.
Yes!
The motion
Said it
carries,
Yes.
Once
and
again,
committee reports are suspended.
the fastest motion in the East.
Madam Chair, may I just indicate that the Alternatives to Domestic Violence is seeking lawyers to volunteer for pro bono services to get individuals to have restraining orders. If there's any attorneys out there who are interested in helping, it's a wonderful pro bono opportunity. I did it for years, and please feel free to reach out to Alternatives to Domestic
I
Violence.
just wanted to talk about Fox and Company.
Motion.
Okay, we have many things that we would like to share with you, but the evening is late, so may I have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We are adjourned.
Motion to